Jackals TV has returned to the YouTube airwaves, and today the Jackals will be taking on a new team they've never played before, the Fraser River Motorboaters. This game taking place on June 18th in the ASHL Summer League. Since they've never played this team before, let's have a look at some recent results from the Motorboaters. Playing against the teams the Jackals have played before. They beat the Nighthawks 3-1 there. You see losing to the Hellfish 8-1. That's a team the Jackals have lost to twice, 4-1. They also have an overtime loss to the Garbage Men, which is a team that the Jackals have beat in overtime this season. So we expect a close game here between these two teams. Jackals are down 3 players today. John, Gary Mazzuto, and Jay Lawrence all unable to play in today's game, so they've called up defenseman Brad Haber to spare and fill out the roster here today. Trevor's starting in net, so let's head to the first period and see how this goes. And it's not going to be the start that the Jackals looking for. We're going to witness the opening face-off to the game. The Motorboaters are going to put this puck up the right side, eventually pick it up there in the neutral zone and come in on the right, take a shot that's going to go off to the corner. And this player's just going to wildly throw it towards the front of the net, and it's going to go into Trevor's feet and somehow find its way into the back of the net. And just a few seconds into this game, the Jackals find themselves down 1-0. We're going to check it out on the replay to try and figure out how that goes in. JD kind of skates in front of us there where we can't quite see it, but it does slip through Trevor's feet and into the net. They nearly make it 2-0 right away as well, as this player holds up coming across the line, finds his player is going to walk uncontested right down the middle, get a good shot off. Trevor makes a save, and then the rebound, he directs that off to the corner with his pad, and then makes a third save there in front of the net as well. Finally, an offensive zone faceoff for the Jackals, and it's going to be a bad giveaway here as Gary reads it well, jumps on it before they can pass it out. He walks in and he tries a slap pass to Lloyd at the side of the net, but it ends up going wide. Next up, we're going to see Brad with a nice little saucer pass that goes through a bunch of traffic and finds Daryl, and he's going to go in alone, take a shot up high, and it goes off the goalie's shoulder and over the net. So as the period's winding down there, you see less than a minute left in this period. The Motorboaters are going to come up, give it to this player. He's going to walk in past the ring at line and go bar down off the crossbar and in. A hell of a shot. And the Jackals will give up a goal at the beginning of the period and at the end of the period, and they're down 2-0 going to the second. Jackals looking to rebound from their standard slow first period. Here's Rob coming up the right side, throws it towards the net. The goalie whiffs on it, and then Chris Stuhart tries to jump on it, but the defenseman gets his stick in there and disrupts it before he can sweep it on net. Next we see Aaron coming in on the right. He drops it to Rob, who quickly gives it back to him, and he one-times it towards the net, and you can see the goalie make a roundabout glove hand save to keep that one out. And the Jackals continue to put some pressure on though. Here you see David off a neutral zone draw, dump that in on net, and the rebound comes right out to Daryl, who fans on it, unfortunately, and it goes wide into the corner. Puck gets rimmed around to Gary, who throws it toward the net. Daryl tips it up in the air, and then Lloyd tries to bunt it in as it bounces over to him on the far side, but he's unable to make contact, and it goes just past him into the corner. And that doesn't work out yet for the Jackals. Here comes Brad up the ice, and he's going to move around that player, throw it on net. The goalie gets a piece of it and keeps it out. The puck runs around to Gary, who throws it on net, and Brad tips it down, and the goalie is forced to make a difficult save there on that tip. Motorboaters looking for a chance of their own, and they get it right here in front. Trevor makes a save, and then he swats the puck to Brad, who then throws it up there, and that Motorboater player knocks it down, and that allows Aaron to skate onto it, move it on the breakaway, go to the forehand, and slide it past the goaltender. And the Jackals have cut this lead in half. It's now 2-1 after Trevor picks up the second assist on that goal. And now they're looking to tie it. Here comes Aaron again down the right side, and a sweet little backhand pass to Brad, trailing the play, and he gets a good hard shot off. But Chris Stuhart takes it in the midsection, topples over, unfortunately getting in the way of that shot. Here's another shot that deflects off the defenseman by David, goes just wide. Gary picks it up on that side, and he loses it for a second, and eventually he's going to find Daryl on the backhand, who sweeps it towards the net, and it's a tie game now, 2-2. And here comes Daryl looking for more. He's slowly coming up the right side. He's going to try to throw this puck towards the net. It's going to end up back with him down low, and he sweeps it out high to Brad, who comes in, gets a good hard shot off, and the goalie does well to get that off the glove and out of play. Here we see a Motorboater player trying to skate it out. He runs into Jer, so good turnover there. That gets put over to Troy. He tries to shovel that towards the net, ends up falling instead, but the puck is still live down in the corner, and Jared's fighting hard for it. He turns it over, tries to hit Darsh, but instead it goes back to Brad. He throws it on net, rebound comes right off to Jared on the side. He gets a couple cracks at it before it finally goes across the line, and suddenly the Jackals, despite being down 2-0 in this game, they're now up 3-2 with their own goal in the last minute of a period, just like the Motorboaters did to them in the first. So it's 3-2, heading to the third. Here we see Brad trying to do a spinorama to keep that in, but it gets turned over, so it's a 2-on-1 the other way for the Motorboaters, and they're going to make that pass across and hit some feet, and then the rebound's out there for that player to try to jam it in, but Trevor's there to turn it aside. Another rush in by the Motorboaters, puck in the middle, try to put it towards the net, but Brad blocks that. Bob picks it up in the corner, pushes it up to Darshan, who pushes it ahead to Jer, who's going to slide that across to Aaron. He's going to go past the defender, take the big slap shot, and it's going to hit the goaltender and trickle through. And this is where the camera cuts out shortly after the goal, after you see that go in, and then it's going to resort to the pan and scan view, full ice view from that point onwards. So we're going to have less highlights here while we try and figure that out. But there you see a penalty late in this game. You see there's only 3 minutes left in this game. Jared draws a penalty. So the Jackals up 4-2, have a power play with just 3 minutes left in the game. An excellent situation to be in for sure. Bob has that. He's going to put that down to Rob, down low. He's going to give it to Brad, who comes in, takes the shot, and it ends up going behind the net harmlessly. He might have hit a player in front. Then the Motorboaters are going to have it, and they're going to throw that up the side, and it's going to get past Brad and turn into a 2-on-0. And they pass the player across, but a nice blocker save by Trevor to keep this a 2-goal lead and keep the Jackals on the power play. So here's Brad again, and he takes a shot, whips that a little bit wide. Then he's going to battle for it along the half wall, and he's going to curl back towards the top. And as he's trying to handle it, it gets pushed away from him. That player swoops in, picks it up, goes in alone on a breakaway, and as he's coming in, he stops hard, goes back to the left, and slides it in. So the Jackals, unfortunately, give up a shorthanded goal to make this a 4-3 game. But there's less than a minute left in this game after the Jackals penalty ends. You can see this Motorboater player come in, and a big block by Gary there. Troy gets it and puts it softly out, not for icing. There you see, just 20 seconds left. So a nice play by Troy to not take the icing. So the Motorboaters make a desperation play up there, and that player actually loses it at the line, but Jared had turned away from it and didn't notice, and then he tries to wildly chop at it to get it out, and that's going to allow this chance to go down low, and the player on the far side is going to shovel it home with just a second left in the game to tie it up for the Motorboaters and send us to overtime. The Jackals are going to get the first chance in this one. Aaron holds up, and he throws it across to Gary, who can't handle it, but then he takes a shot that's blocked, and now he's going to get the opportunity to walk right in the slot, take a shot where he had space up high on the blocker side, but he can't get it there, and the save is made. So Motorboaters coming the other way. They shoot that puck, it goes wide, so he picks it up off the wall, goes around the net for a wraparound, save is made, but then the two Jackals there are unable to get the puck, and the one Motorboater player pulls it out of Trevor's pads and takes it off to the right-hand side and puts it home, and the Motorboaters win this game in overtime. So now we have a look at the stats for the game. There you see with Aaron with 2 goals, Jeremy with a goal and assist, Brad with 2 points as well with 2 assists here on the day. Let's have a look at what that means to the overall stats. Daryl and Jeremy now have crawled their way up into a tie with Ethan, so hopefully soon they'll pass him for the lead in scoring for the summer season. Let's have a look at the standings now. You see that the team at the bottom of the standings, the Minnesota Nighthawks, have been removed from the division, and the 3 Bears have been added. So some new teams to play. The Jackals there in the middle of the pack. The Jackals only have 1 game left on the schedule. It's next Tuesday against the Garbage Men. At this point, the schedule is being rewritten to accommodate the new teams and to level it out so that not every team is playing on weekends in the summer months. So we'll be back next Tuesday. That was a team that the Jackals beat in overtime last time, so we anticipate another close game. We'll see you then.